not gonna do
GM, you should be able to see the videos soon, I guess. We are low on staff today, so episode 17 of Hot Takes and Cold Wallets about to take place. I'm Wimi, as you can hear by my voice. We also got Juan here tonight. Hello, Juan.
Hey, Wilmy, how's it going?
I'm
Yeah,
doing.
today it's a special day, I would say. We have like the dream traveling to a lot of different conferences. We at Chimberto are getting ready for ETC. We are going to be having like a pretty big presence next week. We have a booth in the main event. We also are going to be having the screening of our documentary. We can speak a little bit about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely excited for this. And yeah, as you can see, the team is already traveling to kick off the big week next week.
Okay, so Mike, our tech guy in the back, just told us, like, hey, we're not doing video tonight because the bandwidth cannot handle it at the airport. So stick with our voices tonight. Juan, I wanted to have like the latest update from your Chain Patrol side as we are missing Nikita tonight. So what's been happening since we spoke last week?
Well, I would say since last week, actually, we started having like a lot of participation in conferences. We started seeing like a bit outside, I would say, of Web3 and see that these issues of impersonations and phishing websites, and I would say broad fraud that we detect across a lot of different channels on social media platforms and so on. It's not something that is happening on crypto, but it's something that is happening to a lot of different verticals. So we have Nikita that went to RSAC conference in San Francisco, and also Connor, one of our team members, that went to DAS in New York. So we actually have been having like great conversations on both of these conferences. And yeah, in general, things are going quite well. We are doing like a lot of improvements. We actually have like a pretty big UI update when it comes to the main Chimtrol platform. So yeah, a lot of things coming along, but all of these things are excited for sure. And yeah, as I was mentioning a second ago, getting ready for ETC. A lot of team members are going to be there. Nikita, more founders, a lot of team members will be in person there. So yeah, anyone that wants to come to chat, we will be going to have our booth on Monday and Tuesday next week.
So you said on the update side of things that you're still seeing a lot of impersonation and phishing attacks going on. What would you say, Juan, like are the platforms that you see the most impersonation and phishing attacks still at the moment? Is it still X or has it shifted quite a bit?
Well, depends a lot on the type of organization that we are talking with. Like we have seen, for example, that some organizations outside crypto, one issue that is like really recurring are fake ads on Instagram. I don't see too much on crypto companies being targeted like this, but these other companies from our verticals that we have started seeing like doing like different POCs. We have actually seen some validation like yeah, fake ads on Instagram that is like really dangerous, mostly because anyone that has access to a fake account can create these ads. Meta doesn't ban them already because they see like a lot of revenue, a lot of money coming like from fake ads themselves. So it's like a really big issue that we see happening right now. Really dangerous because these fake ads run you to like a phishing website in some cases, in other cases to a website that maybe don't drain your wallet but gets your information. So all of this is pretty dangerous. But yeah, when it comes to crypto, I would say the main platforms that we're seeing right now are still like Twitter, Telegram, Discord impersonations as well. So definitely this is like a problem that still we see happening.
And do you share my agreement that when I say a lot of communities probably not the ones that you're protecting because they are working with you already and they are like kind of firm about security in general, but they are kind of like neglecting to inform the communities about these phishing attacks, because I've seen so many projects and even like individuals get like hackers or impersonators like trying to pose like them, and they didn't warn the communities at all. Do you see that as well, or is it
I
something that
see.
has become better?
No, for sure. I see the same thing as you. Maybe it's more like on the individual side of things. Like I see these messages like, "Hey, we have like fraud impersonations. Make sure that you check the official channels and so on." Is something that we see recurrently in a lot of Web3 communities. But what I don't see too much is when one account, for example, of like an official team member gets hacked or gets impersonated or even gets taken over directly by a scammer. When those situations happen, and usually they don't alert the community so fast, mostly because it might be from a founder. That person, might be might not be happy or might be a bit shy to share the information because they don't want to see them like I would say stupid people in some cases when it comes to getting drained or getting to these accounts taken over. But it's not that they are stupid. It's because the scammers are having like these really complex ways to get access to the accounts with different like social engineering and phishing engineering that they actually get to your accounts and get you drained or get you access to your accounts. So definitely these issues is something that I see happening, and mainly it's not like the I would say the main communities, the main companies getting impersonated and not saying nothing about that. Of course, we see cases of this happening. Like we see a lot of companies that are getting a lot of impersonations and they don't do nothing about that and they don't even announce that. But mostly what I see in general is like individual team members or individual people from that company don't spread too much information when they get their accounts hacked.
Yeah, that's a great pickup. I think that on X, especially the notification when someone got their Telegram compromised, we talked about this with Tay in one of the latest episodes. I think that has gotten a lot better because I personally have seen at least 2 or 3 notifications from people this week on X posting like, "Hey, my Telegram got compromised. If someone messaged you and wants to jump on a call with you," the same scenario, the playbook that we talked about with Tay, they kind of like inform their followers in the community, which is like a great step up when it comes to being on the right side of things, because it's super important for people to know, hey, this is actually not the person I was expecting to talk to.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think it's becoming a bit better, but yeah, still a long way to go.
We have the Resolve hack that happened this week, Juan. I have a lot of notes on this because I still had to do some research, of course. So the Resolve incident that happened was basically, as the TLDR version is, that a private key controlling Resolve infrastructure was compromised. We don't know in what way the private key was compromised, whether that was through like malware or team member getting compromised or someone having like base access maybe and they left the company or something like this. Could be all imaginable. What the attacker was doing was basically he was minting roughly 80 million of USR stable coins, which should be backed with the collateral, and they weren't. So they kind of like created fake supply for the protocol's stablecoin, which of course, if people are lending against the coin and trading with the coins, is not a great thing to do. So USR basically they had to halt the protocol. They tried to freeze the funds and try to flag accounts all over the place. I think they had like 500,000, which is realized as losses, and the rest was like, yeah, still to be figured out. But Juan, this also like undermines the stuff that we're talking about like in this weekly calls about you should be very wary when it comes to accepting random calls, when it comes to protecting your keys, when it comes to even like educate you and your team members about all the things that can do. Because as we can see in this example, like if some individual gets hacked or if some individual with approvals or remote control basically to the protocol gets hacked, it can pretty much spiral into like a disaster for the protocol. And they think Resolve, they kind of like they kind of got away with one foot, if you want to say it that way, because they were able to halt and claim the burns and stuff like that. But it could have been very dangerous. It could have been like a real disaster and a 100% loss for the protocol. So the main thing that we're talking about on a weekly basis still remains the same, right?
Yeah, I think it remains the same. It's like a really big issue. I mean, when people get access to their social media accounts and they can actually represent and act on them, and all of this is like planned really, really carefully. Like it's not some randomly thing that happens once. All of this happens fast and really, really fast, because not only with AI tools, scammers are able to make this happen much more faster and effective, and they can control the different outputs, but they can also understand will be the reactions of their team. So they can also get ahead of those reactions and know exactly how to proceed in those cases. So yeah, definitely I would say it's really, really difficult situations. I also want to mention on this hack that what I have seen is not only like the impact when it comes to the social media accounts, when it comes to the hack itself, but also with all the different protocols that were related to this. I remember that I saw a post from Fluid that they also mentioned that they didn't got affected, but this actually got impacted on the different things that they did in their platform. So definitely when a hack, especially of a stable coin, happens, there are a lot of different protocols on DeFi that gets impacted as well. So that's, I would say, why it also impacts much more in our industry.
I think what's pretty fascinating is that we talked about this with Quid last week. We talked about like what the stamp of approval of auditing like a smart contract really does to a protocol, or as a stamp of approval to the project itself. What I want to highlight here is that this was not like a smart contract bug or anything like that. It was key management or operational security failure, if you will, because we don't know like how the key got compromised, but we know it got compromised. So it could be like a hot wallet that leaked the key, or the server infrastructure was breached, or someone had malware on an operator machine or something like this. So it doesn't like, you don't see it from the outside. If you were expecting like the smart contract to be breached, this is not what happened. It was like the part of operating side of the protocol, which is like unfortunate, because we still don't know what happened. I think they are probably aware of what happened, but they're kind of like, yeah, cautious about the information they are sharing with the public, I guess. But it's perfectly like, it's a perfect reminder that even like a perfectly smart audited audited smart contract this way around is like not like a bulletproof solution, because if admin keys basically get compromised, it's still an issue that you gotta face, even if you have like the most perfect audit on your contract. So what would you say, Juan, like from an outside perspective, maybe you said like it takes a lot of preparation for these guys to do so. It was kind of more like a spear phishing or individual attack, or what type of attack would you suspect behind this?
No, I would say it's not individual. Probably like a couple of people were involved into this, and they knew exactly what to do and how to do it. Mostly because, I mean, I don't know, Resolve is not like an stable coin that is a lot. It's spread like a lot. Like I think a lot of people know Resolve in the industry, but their stablecoin is not something that use most of the users don't use in a day-to-day basis. So definitely this is something that was targeted, and they knew exactly how to proceed. So yeah, I think that was the operation that way.
Yeah. Speaking of targeted operations, I uploaded a short video today about a tweet that I saw today on the timeline, and it's a shame we don't have video, because I even printed it out. There was a fake letter for a Trezor letter to someone, basically, where they said like, hey, here's a reminder, we gotta introduce an authentication check feature. And then at the end of the letter, they basically wanted to scan a QR code. And if you scanned that QR code, you were taken to a phishing website. On that phishing website, you were presented with like a fake Trezor suite to download. And if you downloaded that software, it was not a malware, but it was asking you for the secret recovery phrase, aka the seed phrase, which is pretty interesting, Juan, because I think if we think about physical attacks or like getting a letter in the real world delivered to you, first you gotta think about like the user is probably not aware that his data was leaked in some
Yeah.
kind of data leak. It could have been like a long time ago or not even related to crypto at all. Then you receive a letter from Trezor, and if you are not into the day-to-day life, let's say, of the Web3 stuff, you might not even recognize that this is not even a real letter, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's scary. It's scary. Like I think I saw some copies like in PDF, but never like a real one. Like of course I've never seen one like that. But I think it's really scary how fast and how easy they can get your contact information. I know that Ledger was uh, com- yeah, a lot of people complain about Ledger because they had like their data being shared publicly, not once but twice, or I think maybe three times. So that's something that happens a lot. These kind of breaches on those kind of products and services. And yeah, I mean, it's scary. I mean, I think if you're into crypto, and also if you have like a hard wallet, you understand a little bit why you need to be cautious and why you don't need to scan those QR codes. But life is something that whenever you're in a rush, whenever you're doing like three different things at the same time, you may not be realizing like what you're doing in that specific moment. Maybe you see that letter, you see like the logo of the company that sent you that letter, you say, hey, yeah, I'm a user, I will check this out. And you make the mistake to scan that QR code. And after that, pretty much, I don't know if that's like a wallet running a website, or what is like the next steps after that, after you scan that code. But yeah, pretty much you get maybe your account hacked, or your wallet compromised in different ways.
Yeah, there could be many possibilities to drain you, right? It could be like a phishing kit where they're trying to steal the assets out of your wallet. As said, in this case, it was like a fake Trezor Suite software, which basically just was a copycat of the real Trezor Suite. And then if you installed it, it just asked you for like, hey, to enable this new feature, you gotta enter your secret recovery phrase. And obviously, if you share your seed phrase or your secret recovery phrase, then someone else has access to it, which means they have full control over the wallets that you created and then the seed phrase, which yeah, basically is like losing all of your funds or handing over all of your funds to them. From your experience, Juan, what would you say? How dangerous are scams like this compared to the typical stuff we see on Discord or Twitter? I would probably think it's much more um, dangerous because people do not expect to get like a real letter delivered to their home address.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they have your information, they have your name, they have your number, they have your address. So definitely they know who you are. I think that a lot of scams that we see in crypto are not so like targeted to you especially. I think at some point, like it's like a spread and pray. Like they usually, I don't know, they'll try to do like contaminate the wallet, poison the addresses. That's one way that they suspect one person to send their money to them after they make like a wrong transaction. But your name is not there. Like you're just like a wallet address number. Like they don't actually know who you are. So in that case it's more like impersonalized, and I think it's better, and that's like more on the crypto side of things in terms of like being anonymous and that side of things. But of course, if I receive like a letter trying to scam me personally, I will be much more scared than if I get like a random address poisoning transaction, or even like a random DM on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, whatever platform, just sending me like a phishing website. I think that they don't know you exactly who you are. They just want your money.
It's interesting. In Germany, we call this like the watering can principle, where you're just eventually gonna hit someone, right? You're just having enough contacts where you're just sending out letters or whatever, and you're eventually gonna hit someone who's like a Trezor customer or a Ledger customer or even like a Coinbase customer if we're talking about SMS phishing and stuff like that. It's pretty like widely adopted when it comes to banking phishing and stuff like that, especially in Germany here. What's interesting was about this tweet, I think the user actually stated that he is not a Trezor customer. So the data probably came from another data leak, probably related to crypto, because I guess they wouldn't send out letters to anyone included in a database just on purpose. They would probably think like, hey, this person has a chance that they have like a hardware wallet from Ledger, from Trezor, etc. Because otherwise it wouldn't make any sense for the effort, I guess. So it's kind of targeted, but it's more like, so hey, it's in the crowd, or it's in the audience of crypto. So if we send this letter to 200 people, we'll eventually hit someone with it.
Mhm.
Okay, I got like a small segment for the Ethereum security funding round, the DAO security fund. This was gonna be a much bigger topic when Nikita was here, but since he's not, I'm just gonna leave this as some kind of disclaimer for now, Juan. We're gonna be picking this up in a later episode again, because the round actually runs from April 21st to May 12th. So that's a bit of a time span that we still have. But basically, the DAO Security Fund launched an Ethereum security quadratic funding round, which is putting up a 500 Ethereum matching pool, like over $1 million, dedicated entirely to projects improving Ethereum security, from auditing, from web wallet defenses, etc. Just yeah, basically just strengthening the defense layer of Ethereum. Okay, so we lastly got the ECC outlook, because I think Mike has to leave in a few minutes. So obviously, if he leaves, the stream goes down. So the tech guy is always the guy in control. Remember that. Juan, you're gonna be at ECC, I think. So ECC is coming up soon. You said you got some exciting stuff to bring with Chain Patrol this year. So what are you most curious about heading to ECC this year, personally?
Yeah, I mean, first of all crypto conferences are good to think and learn more about like customers, uh, people, partners that we met in the conference. Like I always enjoy the one-on-ones that we have there. So definitely being able to interact with people that I know from other conferences and with new people is always exciting. That's number one. Number two, at Chain Patrol, we have a lot of activations that we are going to be doing in the conference itself. I would say the most relevant one is the screening of our documentary. We have been tweeting a bit about this in the last couple of days, but basically we have one documentary that we are going to be screening about scam compounds on different parts of Asia. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting topic. I think probably next week we can discuss much more in detail everything that we have uncovered on this documentary. One of our founders, Vito, came there. Mike actually also went to there in person. So they made first, I would say, yeah, real one-on-one interviews with a lot of people that are involved here, and they share a lot of great information, a lot of great things that they're actually doing right now to combat these scam compounds. So yeah, it's definitely something that we at Chain Patrol are putting a lot of resources and a lot of energy to show up much more. And apart from this, on the documentary itself, we are also doing like a fundraise right now. This is happening on Giveth, and all the funds that we are raising there will be giving away to 4 NGOs. All the information on this is on the Giveth side of things, and the Giveth link that we can share also in this chat. But pretty much what we are doing there is to try to spread the word and help these NGOs combat the scam compounds and combat this. That is like a really big issue. But yeah, I think Wimity is also like a topic for next week once we make the actual premiere of the documentary and talk a bit more about like why this is a problem, what are scam compounds themselves, and what is being done right now to combat this as well. But yeah, in general, ETC really exciting. I'm traveling in a few days, so yeah, it will be great. And also compared to last year, I think this weather will be much better. It is not going to be crazy summertime and really hot there. It will be much better right now.
Do you think personally we're gonna have a trend or a narrative being present at ECC this year? What would be your guess for that? Is there like any big thing that you expect to be very present, like stable coins or institutions or something you think will show up big?
I'm not sure about that. I think probably a much more institutions than last year will appear. I'm actually having great hopes about ETC itself because I think that this will be the first conference for a lot of people in Europe for this year. Like I don't think that much. A lot of people came to Denver a few weeks ago. And a lot of them didn't went to another conference. So I think that it will be like a really like kickoff of the year for a lot of people when it comes to conferences, and I'm excited for that. And yeah, I don't know if it will be stable coins, institutions, AI itself, but yeah, we'll see what we can find next week with all different conferences that are going to be happening.
I have a fun question for you, Juan.
Go ahead.
What's more dangerous, a conference Wi-Fi or a conference after party?
Yeah, definitely conference Wi-Fi.
You gotta say that. You gotta say that. Okay,
Yeah.
so one more thing. I know that you traveled a lot, that you visited a lot of conferences yourself. What's like the most valuable thing? Not like a thing per se, but what's the most valuable thing that you take away yourself personally from attending these conferences?
Um, I'm like a guy that really likes the social part. So I would say getting a lot of contacts and getting a lot of experiences from a lot of people around the world, that's really, really good. Like I love to understand more about like which are the different projects, why they're putting all their time and energy there. Like I think that work at a certain point when you have ways to choose what you do is a way to realize yourself. And I like to see how people realize themselves in the work that they are doing because they actually choose to do that. So I like to always understand which are the different things that they are experiencing in doing that. I think might be a bit abstract, but I think that's the best thing that I take. And apart from this, mostly with all the different wars happening right now, people coming from Dubai, people coming from different parts of the world where things are not so good right now, it's always good to chat and see what has been their experience so far with these different issues.
Yeah, and generally speaking, would you say these conferences are still mostly like about building, or is the alpha, so to say, basically the networking that you're trying to do on site?
That's a good question. I would say more on the alpha, but I don't think that the building side of thing never stops. I think a lot of the big conference that we have been going over the year have like this startup pitch or a startup moment where they don't also like when they usually get more room for people doing hackathons and people doing like the different projects that they have going on. So I think the building part is something that we see all the time, but this doesn't take that the alpha I think is dominating so far.
That's perfect. I hope you bring a security topic or two to
Yeah.
ECC, Juan.
Yes, sir.
And if anyone stumbles across Chain Patrol, whether that be Juan or Nikita or the other guys attempting, feel free to say hello. And feel free to take place in the premiere of the series that Juan introduced to you. And yeah, hopefully next week we will be back in full force with the full stuff on board. Juan, any wrapping words you gotta say?
No, I mean, always as we sit for the conference, be safe, don't bring your hard wallets with you. And yeah, enjoy and meet with a lot of people that are going to be there, not only also working, but also trying to learn experiences from each other.
Okay, let's brings us to the end of the episode. We're gonna leave with an international goodbye. And in Germany, we're saying Auf Wiedersehen, bis zum nächsten Mal.
Awesome. Adiós, hasta luego.